We've been staying busy this past week. I've been working with design clients.
And I've been meeting with contractors and inspectors.
And we were even interviewed for a podcast.
It's called the Invest Florida Show, and we talked about how we met, who we are as investors, what our strategies are. We had a great conversation with them. It was a lot of fun. This one was a little bit nervous though.
No, you were nervous.
We were both a little bit nervous, but it
turned out okay.
In hindsight, it was a great experience.
So I'll link to the podcast episode in the notes below if you want to listen. And now that we've got the keys to the Heights house, we can finally get in there and start tearing it down.
We were anxious to get started, so we actually had our own demo day last week.
Hashtag demo day.
But we're leaving most of the heavy lifting for the contractors to do.
Honestly, it's been such a struggle to find a good contractor around here. Most of the ones we reached out to are booked up for months.
A couple weeks ago, we even entertained the idea of being our own GCs and finding our own subcontractors, since this is going to be our primary residence. But we eventually did find a local architect and contractor that we're going to work with who has been great so far.
And now we have our team lined up and ready to go, so we are hopeful that everything stays on schedule.
So as for the 5-unit bungalow, things are moving along slow and steady right now. We're in our due diligence period right now, which is absolutely critical because that is when everything becomes known about the property.
Prior to due diligence, you typically only have limited information, like the gross rent collected and the average annual expenses.
During due diligence is when you get the exact rent roll, you get broken down monthly expenses, copies of the leases, you walk through each and every unit, and you get all of the necessary inspections done. You'll often uncover things like a vacant unit that was listed as rented or deferred maintenance, which will alter your purchase price.
We've finally been able to walk through all 5 units at the bungalow, and some are in better shape than others.
The back building is in rough shape, but it's almost 100 years old, and so there really is only so much you can do.
Both of the buildings need to be completely rewired. There's plumbing issues and siding issues, and we're talking at least 30 grand in repairs.
So now we have to go back and renegotiate with the seller with this new information to see if we can come to an agreement with the plan still to close by the end of March.
Now the Heights house was a completely different story. We still had our due diligence period, but it took less than a week, just long enough to get a couple inspectors and contractors out there.
There were no big surprises. We bought the house as is. There were no banks involved for financing, and so it really was about as easy a transaction as you can have. So the moral of the story here is that every transaction is different, and things can vary a lot between residential and commercial properties.
This week, we're hoping to make some major progress on demo at the Heights house, so hopefully by the next time you see it, you won't be able to recognize it. And I'll be updating you guys on my Instagram stories, which I will link to below.
Let us know in the comments if you want us to talk more about the investing or the planning or the design that we're working through on these.
And of course, make sure to subscribe if you want to see what happens next.